Hey guys, Em here from My Life in the Real World, and it is finally time to have a little bit of discussion about the February 2020 movie of the month, Burlesque. First off, I just want to thank everyone who joined us for the live tweet earlier this month, and for those of you who have been following along on all the wacky adventures on our social media. I mean, I've just been having so much fun doing all this burlesque stuff, and I really hope you guys have been enjoying watching it. Now that we have had plenty of time to digest the movie Burlesque, I think it's time to discuss a few key points and things that have been bothering / making me think. I'm gonna say there's gonna be some spoilers because I will be talking about the film and referencing specific points, so be warned. Now, as I was thinking over the film, one thing that kept nagging at me as maybe the biggest issue, although there are several issues, it is a very entertaining movie. That doesn't necessarily mean it's good, but it is entertaining, and we need entertaining movies in our lives. The major issue for me was the timeline. Now, it feels like everything going on is happening over the past, I don't know, a few months. Like, it feels like there should be at least a month or two of time that is being shown in this movie, when really, it's like 30 days. Which I know is a month, but like, all of the stuff that is happening should be happening over months, maybe a year, not 30 days. And there's also a few other things that kind of irk me, like Allie is kind of an entitled brat when you think about it, and the way she treats people and talks to people. She's constantly arguing with people that she's right and they should just listen to her and just give her the chance or give her the job or let her stay at the apartment because she's right and she deserves this and she will work for this. And it seems to endear everyone to her instead of annoy them, which I don't think that's how that works, but I digress. Anyway, the way I figured out to make the rest of this movie work is everything that happened from the time the movie opens, and she's in that terrible diner, to the point where she finishes her audition for Tess, like finishes the wagon wheel Watusi, is real. We've established this really happened, all of this goes down. She meets all these people, she moves to LA, that happened. Now, in my mind, the way to make this work is everything after that is a dream or a fantasy, give or take, which I know is such a cop-out, but suddenly a lot of things make sense. Why everyone loves Allie, why she's able to fight with people tooth and nail and they still love her, how she ends up being able to stay in Jack's apartment forever, how she ends up with Jack, how all of these elaborate costumes and sets and props and all of the music and the new choreography and the wigs just sort of happen very, very quickly. So think about it. We've already established that she has this type of fantasy life because when she first comes to the club and she sees Nikki singing Diamonds Are a Girl's Best Friend, she has that fantasy moment where she's up there singing and belting like crazy as only Christina Aguilera can. And so that is an established thing. We have at least one very real moment of her having this hallucination. I don't like hallucination. Hallucination sounds like she's going crazy. But, like, think about it like Chicago, the movie. The movie worked so well with audiences who weren't traditional musical theater people, theater-loving people, however, at least in my mind, because all of the musical numbers occurred in Roxy's head. Like, she fantasized all of these magical numbers. They weren't actually happening. So if you think about it like that, this movie then starts to make a lot of sense because Allie gets the job, right? Allie somehow ends up singing because something goes wrong, becomes the star of an entire show, has many people fighting for her affection. Let's not forget Marcus, who she met as Nikki's date. I don't know, as dating Nikki when she met him. But think about it. Marcus had a lot of money. He was very powerful. He could get her connections, which he suddenly takes an interest in her, and suddenly she gets these connections and she meets these people and she goes to these parties and she gets those fabulous shoes that Not my taste, but okay, right? So she gets that. Then there's the whole thing where we all know she has a thing for Jack. He flirts with her a little in like the real world scenario, but we establish he has a fiance. Well, in her fantasy, him and the fiance break up. You get rid of the fiance, she ends up with him. Now I know, why would she throw in the whole, like, the fiance comes back and blah, blah, blah. But if you notice, the whole fiance comes back, like, drama lasted for maybe 20 minutes, if that. Like, in her time, maybe half a day. Like, it wasn't really an issue. It's not like she came back and he talked to her and realized they were better together or anything like that. No, and you never really see her. I mean, you see her come in, which she shouldn't have been able to do because he definitely threw the chain lock the night before. So there's that. But you see her kind of breeze in, but you don't really spend any time with her because Allie doesn't need to know all that. She doesn't need to know what's said. She doesn't need to know why he finally, like, gets rid of her. He just gets rid of her and comes back to her. That's all that matters. Now, think about all of the musical sequences that happen after we enter Fantasyland. They're all very well done, but very produced. There would have been a lot of money, which we know Tess doesn't have because she doesn't have the money to pay off people. The money in sets, costumes, lighting, the band, you're paying the band money, you're paying the dancers, you are paying a choreographer unless Tess is doing it herself, but even so, there's rehearsal time, so there's more pay for people. The lighting, the wig alone, she would not have gotten a wig that quality that quickly without a ton of money. I was a bit of a nerd and I did a whole bunch of research, and I actually went to one of my really good friends, one of my besties who works on wigs, and asked her, like, what is the turnaround time on this? Is this possible? And I was told minimum of probably 2 weeks. Maybe if they modified one a little bit less. But still, she's like moving her head around like crazy. So I'm going to call a little bit of a shenanigan on that being done so fast. Plus, the choreography, sort of insane. Not like the dance moves, not that the dance moves aren't doable, but there's also a point where she is on the stage during I'm a Good Girl, and then seconds later is on the bar. That's impossible. Like, we've already established where the bar is in reference to the stage, and there's no way she would have made it that quick. No way. Plus, there's the whole thing that she has the fantasy when her and Jack are having sexy time for the first time. She is singing in the club. She's saying, bear with me, I have notes, I'm sorry. Bound to You. So she has that whole, like, number with the green dress and the short, pretty blonde hair, and that's happening while she is, like, sleeping with Jack, which is why the first time I saw that, I thought it took place, you know, over a few weeks, and, like, this was showing their relationship expanding, but no, it is literally just that night. So clearly she's having another fantasy time in her head. So you can see how this plays out better. She also becomes the hero and saves the club, and Tess loves her, and everyone loves her. She ends up with the man she wants. Everything just works out so perfectly for her that it makes a lot of sense that it's not real. And furthermore, when she and Jack get back together and he gives her the song and he's like, I want you to sing this, they then start doing the number with full sets and costumes and choreography. So you know this isn't happening right after. But they start doing the number, and Georgia's back. Georgia, the one who got pregnant and left, and Allie took her job. No way Georgia is back looking like that to do those dance moves that quickly. It's impossible. So really, if they decided to make all of that in her head, it's the only way this movie makes sense. I firmly stand by that. And Sean even says at one point, when she books it after that audition, you know, the audition that happens in real world, even though I think afterwards should not be real, he says, welcome to Wonderland, in reference to her name being actually Alice. See, it's like they had it and then they just veered the other way. I don't know. What do you think? Do you think that way would make it better? Would it make it worse? What do you think would fix the movie? Not that the movie can really be fixed. And like I said, it's highly entertaining. So it doesn't necessarily need to be fixed. But I just think if they took care of that, that would really help me with how accepting I would be of what's going on. It just seems like the thing to do, guys. So like I said, let me know what you think. Do you agree? Do you disagree? Do you think there's another way to make things smoother? Hit up the comments down below, and we'll catch you next time. Bye.